Hello everyone, my name is Lwanele Khasu. I'm a clinical psychologist and welcome to my long-awaited podcast. Honestly, I have been wanting to do this for the longest time. But firstly, I didn't have the time to do it. And then I was pregnant and then I went on maternity leave. And I came back from maternity leave and I was like, I don't have the capacity for it. But honestly, it has been nagging me for the longest time. So I am deciding that I'm going to do it. I am going to fly the plane or build the plane as I fly it, as they say. I am going to trust the process of how to do this because honestly, I can be a little bit of a perfectionist and I'm trying not to be. I have learned quite a lot this year how to start again. I feel like this year has really taught me through a season of starting again, humble beginnings. And I generally don't like humble beginnings. I'm just putting that out there. I feel like I need to just start and do it great. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of us that are out there that just want to start and be good at it already. And honestly, it doesn't always work like that. So part of the reason why I've delayed this for so long is because I didn't have the right equipment, or I didn't have the right space, or I didn't have this, or I didn't have that. And honestly, I'm just doing it right now because it's nagging me, because I really want to do it, but also because I'm learning to not be a perfectionist and I'm learning to not have everything figured out. I'm learning to embrace humble beginnings, and I am going to do this with what I have, with the camera I have, with the lights I have, with the microphone I have, and I'm going to see where it takes me. So I want to honor the process. I want to honor the season that I'm in, and I just want to honor what my heart desires to do without having to overthink everything. And the reason why I wanted to do this podcast is really because I love teaching. I love talking. I love also helping people understand the process of healing. So I didn't know this because I just do everything related to mental health. And I didn't know that I love teaching how to heal until my husband tagged my work as a learn to heal kind of work. And I've kind of taken that and ran with it. So I'd like for us to learn how to heal. I'd like for myself to learn how to heal. I'd love for you to learn how to heal. And for me, what that means is that we're learning, and learning is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It is not a one-time thing. It's a process of continuous doing. And therefore you learn how to do it. So I would like this podcast to be our platform to learn how to heal. I am learning to heal from my own perfectionist tendencies of wanting to do things in a particular way, of controlling situations. I am learning to heal from some of those things. I want to just speak and just share what's on my heart. No matter how I look, whether I'm wearing makeup or I'm not wearing makeup, but I have lipstick on or I don't have lipstick on, where my hair is done or not, what I'm dressed. I don't want to think about all of those things, and I just want to speak. I just want to say what's on my heart, and I want to teach on what I want to teach on in that moment. I want to share on what I want to share in that moment, and I want to learn how to be vulnerable because, some of us on this other side of the world, we aren't the best vulnerable people. I mean, I'm learning as I teach people in therapy, as I teach people around me, but I also want to teach you how to be vulnerable and how to be mentally well. So mental wellness is very important to me, and it's important because of a lot of stuff. I love to help people heal. I love to help people understand themselves, but I also really just believe that a lot of our lives stem from the way that we think. The way we think about ourselves, the way we think about our situations, the way we think about life. I've seen myself in my life that when my mindset and my perspective was a particular way, I was able to only achieve certain things. I was only able to achieve a certain kind of happiness and joy. Things were conditional. When I started accepting things for what they are, when I started leaning onto the vulnerable aspects of life, when I started embracing seasons in my life, I actually didn't wait to be happy. I just started being happy in the moment. I've learned a lot of duality in life, which means that good things can happen while bad things are happening. Joy can happen while stress is happening. Anger can happen while frustration is there, while happiness is there. So I have learned that there's a lot that can happen at the same time. And I'm trying not to postpone my happiness. So I wanted to share a little bit of some of those tips, some psychological stuff, some interesting conversations. Really, I want this place to be, like I said, a platform for us to learn how to heal, to understand that healing is a process, to understand that we're going to have to practice healing every single day, every single week, at every point, every single season. And if we can have that, if we can have that as our mindset, that this is a process, that this is learning, then we'll stop putting so much pressure on ourselves to be at all the time. Some days, you're great at something and sometimes you won't be. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that you've relapsed. It doesn't mean anything. It's just part of normal life. So welcome to my podcast. Welcome to the journey where I learn how to heal, where I'm hoping you learn how to heal. But also welcome to the journey where we are both learning how to figure things out together. And welcome to the journey of doing this podcast. I'm going to be very intentional about it. I'm not going to make excuses about what I have and what I don't have. I'll record just here in my office. And we'll figure it out as we go along. So come along on this journey with me. And I hope you learn a lot. And I'm hoping I learn a lot. And please hold me accountable for that consistency, because it's easy to start sometimes, but it really is difficult to sustain something. So, and I want to sustain this. I want to be able to do this because it's nagged me for so long. So let's do it together. Let's learn how to heal together. And I'd love your input in terms of what would you like to talk about or hear about or tips about. I'd love to have people over as well. I've got actually a couple of people that I've asked and we are recording with. So it's going to be an amazing one. But I do want to have a feel of this thing myself first, and then I can invite people over and we can actually have really meaningful conversations. Really, the theme is how do we learn how to heal, and also how do we become mentally well? I think mental wellness is an important thing. I say it all the time. If you've ever heard me talk in any of the other platforms, I absolutely advocate for mental wellness. We have to be well. We have to be well for our families, for our children, for our colleagues. For the community. We have to take care of our thought processes. We have to take care of our mind. I think it's time for us to thrive, guys. Like this thing of just making it or barely making it or barely being happy or happy enough for the day. Like I think we have to let that go. We have to let the sense of just smile enough, or just go to work and do a little bit of work and then go home, and then you're sad again, and in the morning you're struggling to wake up. I think it's enough, but nobody can decide that for you. Only you can decide that for yourself. If you feel like you want a better life for yourself, take on the challenge. Take on the challenge of getting yourself healed. Take on the challenge of, immersing yourself in information that's going to get you there. Take on the challenge of being a better you, of actually being happy, of thriving, of being content, and the thing about happiness doesn't mean you have everything that you've always wanted, or you have the things that, you've been praying about or you've been working for. No, being happy is about contentment with what you have. It's gratitude with what you have, where you're looking at the goalpost and you say, oh, I really would like to get there, or I really would love to achieve those things, but I'm not there yet. But I'm not going to postpone my happiness in this moment for me to get to that point, because honestly, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of your present life. It's a waste of the moments that you have in your life that are so worthy to be celebrated. So the journey of learning is a journey. It is a process. You know, we're doing it together. I'm not saying I am all here, all great, and nothing needs to be done in my life. That's why I'm doing this. I'm also holding myself accountable, but I also do have knowledge, you know, clinical knowledge, psychological knowledge that I'd love to share with you, which is why I'm doing this. So let us take on the challenge to thrive. Let us take on the challenge to be mentally well, and let us take on the challenge to have better relationships with ourselves. We are always holding people accountable. What are you doing for me? What are you doing, you know, for my sister? What are you doing for my mom or whatever? We are always holding people accountable for what they are doing for the other person or for us. Let us hold ourselves accountable for what we are doing for ourselves. You know, I may be preaching a little bit at this point, so maybe let me end this here. But really, I'm that passionate about this. I am passionate about people taking responsibility for themselves, for their lives, and for their happiness. The things that have happened to you may not have been within your control. You know, the trauma, the abuse, you know, neglect, or not being well, or depression. So none of those things could have been your doing, but what you do about it is absolutely up to you. It sounds harsh, because sometimes we like to mope, and sometimes we like to sit in the pain, and sometimes we like to remind ourselves of the shame and the guilt and all of those things. But honestly, the journey from here to where you want to be, to the smile you want to see, to the happiness and the joy you want to feel in your life, that is your responsibility, and that is your being accountable for it. So take on this challenge with me. Let's do it together. I will catch you on the next one, Mental Wellness with Lwanele. Oh man, I am going to enjoy this journey, but let's do it together.